Who are the American Marxists? Is it the media? We know it's so many people in academics. Who are these people?
Well, it's people who espouse these things. You know, it's interesting. There are the leaders of the movements and the activists of the movements, and then the useful idiots, the fanatics who follow the movements. I have a chapter in this book, chapter 6, in which I explain what public journalism is. Public journalism is influenced by a man by the name of John Dewey a century ago, who destroyed public education. And basically, he goes to the Soviet Union in 1928, when Stalin's in control. We know what he was even back in 1920. He observes their schools, and he thinks it's swell. He thinks it's terrific. And what are they doing? Indoctrination. They talk about the communal. They talk about sharing beliefs, sharing consciousness, and so forth. And he's the one who destroyed 100 years ago our public education system, and it works its way today. Well, it's been embraced by journalism schools too. It's called public journalism, and what they mean by that is, and they always lie about who they are, by the way, what it really means is we're not going to just report on a story. We can't just report the news as objectively as we can. We're citizens too. We need to advance the ball. We need to push the narrative. This is so-called public journalism being taught in our journalism schools today. And there's book after book after book on this, professor after professor. And what is the narrative? The narrative is the so-called, I don't like this word progressive, I think it's a phony word.
Me
but
too.
It is this Marxist, neo-Marxist agenda. You can't find a penny's worth of difference between Black Lives Matter and the American media. Not a penny's worth. You can't find a penny's worth of difference between the degrowth so-called climate change movement and the American media. And I could go on. The American media are the mouthpiece for these movements. So they may not like being called American Marxists, but they are.